100% mind games in football. Thank you for returning to our channel. We're going to explore the intriguing realm of football today, where players' strategies extend off the field and into their heads. Have you ever wondered how psychological strategies could influence the outcome of a game? Prepare yourself as we are going to enter the realm of football mind games. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more fascinating sports analysis. Let's get started now. What are mind games in football? In football, the phrase mind games describes a type of psychological conflict in which a manager tries to outwit an opponent by interfering with their concentration before a game. Managers can gain this advantage through verbal sparring, symbolic tongue lashings, or even physical force, but it is far safer to use words to avoid punishment. Managers can engage in mental warfare during press conferences and post-match interviews because they have a captive audience and can more effectively target their targets with insults. Managers and players in football have long practiced getting inside an opponent's head on the field, but it's evident that in the 21st century, sports psychology is receiving a lot more attention, and some teams have even hired professional psychologists to attend to their players' mental health. In November 2019, Jurgen Klopp made the following statement regarding Liverpool's usage of a sports psychologist. "I believe that roughly 20 to 25 years ago, there were no goalie coaches in football, and the head coach handled the goaltender training on his own. You didn't have any athletic coaches. We handled everything, essentially. As a result, the surrounding teams grew. Naturally, the conversation turned to psychology. The German coach clarifies that the introduction of a mental health specialist is part of the ongoing effort to gain modest advantages wherever possible. I have no say in what he is doing with the players," Klopp declared. "I have a role to play with the lads, and I carry it out just as I always have. It's merely an extra for everything to make an effort to provide. We do our utmost to ensure that the boys are under the best care." Which football managers engage in mind games? Number 6. Fabio Capello. Unlike with his players, the former England manager didn't try to manipulate the press. One of your responsibilities as a national manager is to control a variety of identities. Capello's use of mind games was more about keeping players' minds in the right places than tricking the press or rivals. For instance, Metro.co.uk revealed in January that Capello had officially declared his ignorance of Andy Carroll's partying and drinking habits, only to later reveal that Capello had privately advised the Liverpool player to reduce his alcohol consumption. Number 5. Jupp Heynckes. I'm not a big fan of Bundesliga football, but this story about Jupp Heynckes' use of mind tricks as manager of Bayern Munich made me laugh out loud. Other managers and players just laugh at him. Before a game against Borussia Dortmund, Heynckes was allegedly talking about the pressure of leading the Bundesliga, according to Goal.com. Borussia's CEO, Hans-Joachim Watzke, observed that the games were transparent and said, "Psychological games do not help you win a game. I just don't think their remarks will have an impact on us. Our players are giggling uncontrollably about it." Compared to previous generations, this one is entirely different. The final score for Bayern Munich was 1-0. Heynckes declared after the game that Borussia deserved the title. At the very least, the German manager ends that good night gently. Number 4. Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp, of course, can be an extremely unlikable manager, with the exception of the FA. The Tottenham manager, who began his career at Bournemouth in 1983, isn't exactly a player's coach and has shown a no-nonsense approach to managing teams. However, Redknapp's latest altercation with Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger proved he still has what it takes. Redknapp responded to a question about the possibility of his Spurs qualifying for the Champions League next season. "No, it's not inaccessible. That much is obvious. We'll still finish ahead of Arsenal in my opinion, so go, Arsene." Number 3. Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho is most likely the manager in contemporary football history who is best known for his ability to manipulate players' minds. During his early career, the self-anointed Special One developed a notably sarcastic persona, which he has occasionally brought back to life when circumstances start to go against him. In the rivalry for supremacy with Barcelona and Pep Guardiola, Mourinho escalated the mental game as head coach of Real Madrid. During a sideline altercation, he even poked Barca assistant coach Tito Vilanova in the eye. "How we play is not important," he declared at that point. "If you got a Ferrari and I have a small car, I have to break your wheel or add sugar to your tank to beat you in a race." Despite his lack of popularity and harsh criticism, the Portuguese ultimately defeated Barcelona to win the Liga in 2011-12. Over the years, Mourinho has used psychological tactics against a number of individuals. For instance, he referred to Arsene Wenger as a specialist in failure and a voyeur. Number 2. Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is no saint and has also engaged in mind games, but he knows what it takes to strategically carry a team to the top after finding success at Barcelona, Bayern Munich and Manchester City. It was none other than former Real Madrid manager Jose Mourinho who challenged Guardiola to a wit war and delivered the crushing decision that Mourinho could have his own personal Champions League outside of the field while he was manager of Barcelona. The Catalan coach frequently puts on a calm front at press conferences, but below that, he has a fierce temper. When he was manager of Bayern Munich, he memorably told a Guardian reporter to look at him. Guardiola's biggest opponents as Manchester City's manager have been Liverpool, and he has frequently mentioned them in news conferences, whether it be by questioning Sadio Mane's moral character by implying that he enjoys diving or by criticizing referees. Number 1. Alex Ferguson. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Alex Ferguson guided Manchester United to dominance in the Premier League and developed a mastery of the sinister art of mind games. Ferguson's comments about matches favoring rival teams in the 2008-9 season, when the Spanish manager's Liverpool squad was leading the championship race, reportedly agitated Rafa Benitez. Benitez's abandonment of his composed demeanor to launch a long diatribe against facts stunned the Premier League audience. "I was surprised by what has been said, but maybe they, Manchester United, are nervous because we are at the top of the table," remarked the Spanish manager. "But I'd like to discuss the facts," he said. "To be clear, I do not want to play mind games, even though they appear eager to start." Ferguson's Manchester United ultimately defeated Liverpool to win the title despite Liverpool's denials to the contrary. Ferguson provoked an enraged tirade from Keegan during the title run-in, broadcast live on television after mocking Newcastle's rivals' potential lack of devotion. The former Magpies manager said, "I will love it if we beat them." Regrettably, Ferguson had the final laugh as they failed to defeat the Red Devils and secure the championship. I appreciate you looking. Remember to subscribe and like our YouTube channel.